People ask why I'm so passionate about Honda. It all started 30 years ago when my mom trusted this exact 1987 Honda Accord to safely transport our family. Trust takes many years to earn, and through Bianchi Honda, I'm sharing my passion for Hondas with our community.
Bianchi Honda, trusted from the very beginning.
And still on the road today.
Welcome back. It is the Sports Blitz. More importantly, though, it is the Gannon Golden Knights coach's show. He is the one and only Brad Rzyczycki. What's up, Coach? How are you?
Hi, Alex. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, doing all right. I want to ask you about football, but we've been talking a lot today about video games.
Dude, but look, well, I can answer this one. I sat there with Coach Hoy. We were at my house last week, and we watched, I think we were watching ESPN, so I don't know if a game was coming on, and they had a segment about virtual reality, and the guy, I don't know, green or pink hair or whatever.
Yep.
And, you know, he seemed like a good kid.
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to him, but they were talking about it as a sport, which was news to me because I'm 45, and I guess that's a little bit ancient in those terms now. But then he said that he makes over $500,000 a month, and I said, wait, well, maybe we should make this a sport.
He's doing something right.
Maybe I can coach that sport and get a cut off for that.
That's
or what?
fine. And you know what? We could do this together. We could be a package deal. You got your play-by-play guy. I'll do media relations. I'll recruit.
But it's a lot bigger than I ever imagined it was, so that opened my eyes. And it helps me relate a little bit to what these kids do, too.
Are your kids playing video games? You hear about that at all?
They always argue about, I don't know if it's Madden or they're playing basketball or those type of things.
There's a kid in the NHL right now who is seriously screwing up his pro potential. He was drafted, he played enough hockey, practiced enough in his life that he was drafted into the NHL, and now they're sending him to see psychiatrists because he won't go to bed at night. He'll just stay up playing Fortnite. Fortnite's his new rage.
Well, believe it or not, when I first was a head coach in 2012, we had a player that had a similar situation where, speaking with his parents, we had to take his Nintendo, whatever they're called, away from him, have him come in and do study table. The kid went from a low D, C student to an A+ student.
Amazing,
it's just
right?
getting it away from him. But
Tell you what, I would have learned the Spanish language if not for NHL 2015, I think it was. I spent a lot of time. Anyways, should have been a class.
I was an Atari guy, so that's like the last video game I played.
That's a great game. So there's nothing wrong with that. You got to go to Playport. Have you been to Playport?
No.
Oh, it's great. For free advertising, you pay $11 and you play all the good games. They got them all set to free play.
I don't know if I have a ton of time to get on the Atari, but
No, what do you mean? What do you got going on?
yeah, no.
It's busy coaching football?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Especially this time of year. Maybe you could sneak that in the off season. Maybe. That is a maybe.
Try.
48-33 was the final. It was the final PSAC crossover defeat, game and defeat. Does it make it easier that they're not in your side of the PSAC?
No, I mean we would go out attempting to win every game we play, and we're competitors, so it doesn't make it any easy anytime you lose a game. It means a little more obviously now they're starting the PSAC West, and we use it as a fresh season right now. And I told our kids, I said, look, that same team we just lost to on the field, and we ran out of gas on Saturday for injuries and other reasons. That same team, Kutztown, 2 years ago, started out 0-3 and then won the PSAC East. And that's something I talked to my guys about. And we have issues beyond football of injuries, and we lost a lot of kids on Saturday. I mean, there's the first quarter, Andrew Berger gets hurt, and then Warren Lumsden goes in for him. He's his backup. He gets hurt in the end of the second. We stick Sutton in the game, who's a freshman. He gets hurt, and by the time we're into the second half, we have no more three techniques. So, it's part of the game. We understand it, but we just got to get healthy, to be honest with you, Alex. And they were still fighting, but we ran out of gas, and Kutztown's a really good, disciplined team, so it caught up with us in the fourth quarter. But we've got to get healthy is our most important thing right now.
It would be tough based on the first, the first things that took place in this game to isolate one area that's struggling. I mean, you saw the defense step up, you saw the offense step up, and I think there was a special teams moment in there. I might be wrong about that. But my point is, you can't isolate one thing and circle it. That's the glaring weakness on this team. That's got to be.
Yeah, I think when you look at it overall, it's just us focusing for 60 minutes. I mean, yeah, we have to stay healthy. And the other part of it is you got to give credit to the teams that we've played to this point, too. Westchester's a good team. Kutztown's the most disciplined team I've seen on film to this point. And, we ran out of gas in the second half, and they're methodical with what they did, and those kids go out and compete. So, we have to get healthy. It didn't help not having Marcus Jones for the first half from a previous targeting call the previous game. So it's just a matter of us getting healthy. And I think with this group that I have right now, when it happens and we win a game, I think it builds confidence, because when you lose games, no matter who you are, it's human nature to have doubt at some certain point. So we need to be positive with them. Those kids, I tell you what, they try harder than any group I've had. You could sit there and look at this, we're 0-3. We've been competitive. We've been up 7-0 in all 3 of these games so far. And we kind of ran out of gas and made some stupid mistakes at different areas. But the effort that they come out and practice with hasn't wavered. And, as a coach, that's what I'm looking for. And we lost it. There's no losing the team. They're accountable to each other. So, when it happens, it's going to happen. And if we can get healthy and play our football for 60 minutes, we're going to be okay.
I guess the silver lining is, unless you wanted to keep this under wraps, you found out that when Marcus Jones gets spelled, Melvin Blanks is a pretty good guy to do it. He ripped one off there in the first half. Yeah,
he's a really good ball player. This is the first go-around for him. And, we had visions of that's what Melvin should look like. He's a bigger kid. He's a vocal person. He's just an intelligent football player, too. Every time it's with backs, you're always worried about protection. And when you bring a freshman in there, he's got to pick up blitzers, you're worried about it, but he held his own. And give Zevin Howley credit, too. He went in there and played with Melvin in that first half, and they did a good job getting us to the second half where we had our horse. And, we had a key injury up front when Kylie Smith, our center, went down, kind of hurt us up front a little bit, but then Montana Neaturk came in the game and did an excellent job as a true freshman. Playing offensive line is the hardest thing to do in college football. And he held his own in there, and he did a great job to be able to so we still can sustain our offense. And I was really proud of that kid. A lot of because of all the injuries, we had to play a lot of freshmen that went out there and stuck them in situations that we didn't think, and they weren't practicing during the course of the week at some of these positions, went out and played well. So we'll be okay.
You went 99 yards over 13 plays. Do you know the odds of actually scoring on a 99-yard drive?
5%.
I thought you might.
So we talk about it before the year when the ball's – because when you deal with special teams, you go, if we try to put the ball here, here's the likelihood they're going to score. So we know it may be less than that if it's 99 yards, but I know inside the 5-yard line it's 5%.
Once you get to the 20, I mean, the job's done, right? You're good. You're out. You got room to operate. But how did that drive, and then what is your response to seeing them go with the 71-yard pass right after that? Does that take wind out of the sails?
Yeah, it always does, especially where there's some missed tackles down the sideline. It was a good play by them. It was a tailback screen that got loose on us, and we were in a blitz, and we didn't make a play down the sideline. So, yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, but my kids had to bounce back. So when they came from the sideline after that, it was my job to keep the positive momentum because we had been playing so well defensively up until that point.
You said you were worn down. You had some injuries, of course. Mark Jones not available for the first half. Dummies like me, the talking heads, we're thinking Coach gets his closer for the second half back in the game. Is that your thoughts at halftime at all?
Well, Marcus Jones is a really good football player, but it shows you how important that offensive line, those receivers are for blocking for him. Losing Kylie and getting those guys out there, and give Kutztown credit too. They had a good plan. They were going to force us to throw the ball to beat them, which is what some teams have done, and we had a little bit of success running in the first half. But I think we were all thinking that to a point. But those guys were out there in the first half, and with the injuries and getting tired, it showed itself in the second half a little bit. And the offense played unbelievable for 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, they struggled a little bit. But defensively, it seems to be our Achilles heel right now is closing out games, and we're getting closer to it. So when it happens, we're going to be okay.
Let's face it, this has meant it's probably made Mark Jones a bit, anxious. It's kind of tough stuff that he's dealing with, given that he was ejected from the game. He's suspended for an entire half. I wonder if he's waiting to get kind of a monkey off his back and get going again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is. I think we're all waiting for, not waiting, but our offense will click at some point. And a little bit of it is, different bodies on the field in different positions because of some of these injury factors. In offense, they need their rhythm and their timing. And you can see flashes of it. That 13-play, 99-yard drive was a part of having all those kids out there functioning without Marcus. So it's getting there, Alex. Schematically, defensively, we're different than we've been in the past. So there's a little bit of a learning curve out there with those guys. But as long as we're getting effort, we're going to be okay when it's all said and done.
All right, you got Clarion coming up. It is the PSAC West opener, if you will. That is a 1 p.m. kickoff. What do you know about Clarion?
They're tough-nosed kids. Defensively, I know even from watching them last year, and I have not watched their extensive defense this year, but I know from talking to Coach Hoig, they're exactly the same. And they're sound defensively, and they're tough up front, so you have to be physical with those kids. but they run to the ball and they play really good defense. Offensively, they're another RPO offense. The modern way of doing it, playing multiple quarterbacks. They do a really good job, and they're sound on both sides of the ball. So you have to, much like Kutztown, you're going to have to be assignment strong to go win this ball game down at their place.
I know that you aren't going to have a ton of time to spend on this topic tonight, but did you see that the Browns are favored to win tonight against the Jets by 3.5, no less? It's not a 1 point, 1.5, like 3.5. They get the 3 points for being at home, so obviously they're going to win by 1.
What time do those games start?
Man. Well, they schedule them for like 8:20, and then finally at 8:45 they get through the initial run of commercials, it seems.
It's tough for me because if I can get home by like 9, I go to bed when my daughter goes to bed. She's like 8 o'clock. I try to, if I can get home at that time, I'm sleeping because I'm awake all the other times.
Yeah.
But, I may have to watch a little bit of the Brownies. Are they at home or away?
They're at home.
Oh, so it's in Cleveland.
I like the shot. I really like the defense. I think that it's young. They've got some things to get figured out over the next couple of years, but I've got them winning tonight. A lot of people, the more confident everyone nationwide feels about them, maybe it's a Browns fan type of thing, they feel less confident. A guy called me earlier, said, "Go ahead, you're on the blitz. What's up?" "I'm sick." "Well, why?" "Because the Browns play tonight, and everybody says they're going to win." I said, "Well, that's a good thing. They've looked good. They had a shot to beat the Steelers and the Saints." He said, "No, you don't get it."
Was he from Cleveland?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm from Cleveland, so I kind of understand my people over there. And even when, it's going south or whatever, I know how my family's reacting to all these things. And I don't want to say negative by nature, but it's whatever bad can happen is going to happen. And I tell them, these people are filled with doubt, so you're affecting the situation more than you're helping it.
I guess so. Fair enough. I still got them to win tonight. And the Gannon Golden Knights, they take on Clarion, the PSAC West opener. That is on Saturday at 1 p.m. So good luck, Coach. Thanks,
Alex. Appreciate it.